Bonjour, 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 you seekers of truth. I come to bring you a very beautiful message this morning. And this message is, you have to be careful with who you raise from the dead. A lot of you go to the cemeteries, you get your graveyard dirt, and some of you who live out of America actually go to graveyard and collect human remains and bones. Well, today I want to tell you, for these things that you're indulging in, if you're out of America, if you're in a third world country and you speak English, this video is going to be for you. Or if you're just a hoodoo practitioner or a voodoo practitioner from the South and you go to the graveyards and you get graveyard dust to do your work, I want to say something to you. You have to be very cautious. See, you have to be careful with who you raise from the dead. And when I say raise for the dead, I'm not talking about someone who has been poisoned and they wake up out of, they wake up from their coma, their comic state. I'm not speaking of this. I'm speaking of the individual who has passed on, and we are contacting this individual spiritually. When you're raising these individuals, you have to know who you are raising, because some of these people may not be great people. I know there's a lot of people that are eager. They want to connect with their ancestors. They want to connect with Zonset. They want to connect with so-and-so. But let me give you an example of a story of someone a while back in Canada. I had a client in Canada that I was dealing with. This person wanted to connect so bad with the ancestors. They took a random picture and they started doing what they needed to do. Come to find out, the client was talking about feeling, actually it wasn't really the client. Now that I remember, this had to be at least 7 years ago. I was at this person's residence and I felt the spirit of a child molester. Now, I asked this individual, who is this? Has anyone ever been molested in this household? This individual told me, yes, they were. Now, when I looked at their artifacts or their altar and things that they had, I asked who were the people there. And me bringing up this event, this traumatic episode that happened to this client, they actually told me that one of the people in the picture she was using to contact her ancestors was the person who molested her when she was a child. See, one thing a person has to understand is that you have to know the temperament. You have to know who you're raising and who you are connecting with. Group pictures. Sometimes you may even have people in there that you don't even know. I know people are probably going to watch this video and say, how come this person wanted to serve them even though they did what they did to them? I know that's a question that's going to cross your mind. But when people are desperate to connect, they're looking for anything. So I say to you who's viewing, don't make that mistake. I want to bring your attention to another scenario. There was an individual that was working with spirits of the dead. Didn't know who they were working with from a can of paint. They made their offering and that spirit agreed to work with that individual. Come to find out, this individual was working with this spirit, and as he was working with the spirit, he started seeing a lot of things revolving around racism. Now mind you, the person they rose from the dead was white, and they were not white. So as this person began to utilize the spirit, this person started seeing a lot of racist injustice happening around him. And come to find out, when he did research on this individual, he found out that that individual was a member of the Ku Klux Klan. So listen, I come to give you words of wisdom, is that you got to know what you're doing. When you enter into a cemetery, you got to know who you are dealing with. Because you don't want to be surprised.